Hello. So I want to talk about a team called. Well, I've talked about this before when in my video on countering Ishmael, which I'll probably link at the end of this video. But there's a team I called in that video Critter Masher. But we were like I said, this is a team we call Critter Masher, which is pretty much these five heroes. So we'd use Sebastian, unless you're using like Krista or something instead. But we're using Sebastian, Krista, Celeste, Heidi, and Amira. I know it's like a weird line, but this line's actually really effective. It's certain beating certain heroes. This would be Albus usually, or it just depends on what you need. But this one's like I said, sometimes you might want Albus on Heidi even. But I think Kane's gonna be better most of the time since we're tanking with Krista. But this is a line I came up with to counter Ishmael, and just really good versus Ishmael. It's also pretty generally, like I said, Amira is like a counter to critters. Like if you go to Amira, um, she has what is it? This one here. Desperate Fury. Amira grants a wish to enemies with agility. Main stat boosts their critical hit chance for 7 seconds if it was above 0 at the time of activation. Unfortunately, all their crits hits end up missing the target during that time. So Ishmael, of course, is a critter. Sebastian can buff crit chance. So it's like any hero, like so if Sebastian has a crit buff up or Drew has crit buff up, all agility heroes on a team will be affected by this. So like this is actually she ends up being really good, but she's really good versus Ishmael specifically. And to a lesser extent, like you can use her against like Kira Sebastian teams or Kira Jet teams and stuff as well. Maybe not just necessarily Dante Sebastian teams, maybe certain lines, but probably not if Dante is tanking. But so this is I proved to be really good. Krista is proved to really be kind of like the best like anti-Ishmael tank, and that's because this crystallization ability. When in danger of taking major damage, Krista summons an ice block that protects the cast for 2 seconds by partially absorbing any incoming damage, absorbs 86% of damage. Like I said, Ishmael can one-shot most heroes in the game if he has the right like supports, like Nebula, Ishmael, Nebula, Sebastian lines, for example. Like Ishmael will one-shot most heroes in the game, assuming they don't have too much armor for him. Like, so if you give him like an armor pen buff or something on top of that, Ishmael, I mean, can destroy everything. But Krista, she has this crystallization, which kind of makes that like, really just protects that. Like, even max penetration, like, Ishmael can never one shot Krista. So this is like, makes her one of the best like anti Ishmael tanks since Ishmael is just melee basic attacks, right? So where is my Ishmael? Like I said, he doesn't have any abilities that do damage. He just does all support as melee. Like his ultimate gives him 300% attack speed, 200% boosts his attack speed by 200%. And he has crits and stuff, and he has vampirism. And the Phantom makes him practically invincible. This is why he's so tough. Like you have to use pure damage. This is why we use Heidi. But like, so you'll see lines like this though. You will see like this Rufus, Ishmael, Dante, Sebastian, Martha lines, stuff like this. You'll see lines like this all the time, right? Like you'll see those kind of lines, and what you want to do here. Where's Heidi? Krista, Amira. And since this one has Rufus, we're actually going to use Morgan instead of Sebastian. A lot of times you'd use Sebastian, but there's no real status effects. Yes, like Ishmael can stun, but Krista doesn't really care about being stunned. Certainly not when we're using when we don't have Lars here. There's certain lines where you might want Lars instead of Heidi, but for most lines against Ishmael, Heidi's going to be better. But this is actually proving to be a really good team. We're just going to kind of show you like how this works. I also have a couple of guild fights where I use this team to some success. I'll show you those. Like that was this week. But like I said, Krista though, like she, like I said, I mean, Ishmael cannot really hurt her. It's the rest of the team that really has to watch out for the rest of them. Like, but Krista, like, you guys, I usually use, found that course probably works the best just 'cause it gives her a bit more damage she can prevent. But look at that, Ishmael's already dead. Amira just, like, just does a lot of damage to, so that Amira shuts off Ishmael's ability to do damage. And then she does quite a bit of damage in her own right. And Heidi just kind of goes berserk with all that pure damage. Morgan blocks Rufus Res, and the fight's over. Just really efficient. Was this one here, right? Yep. Boom. Heidi 2.4 million. Amira 1.4. Healing. Damage taken. Morgan took most damage from minions, but Krista took some too here. But just like, that just ends up working really well. But let's go to Guild Wars. Like, my guild's been struggling in Guild Wars a lot lately, so we're not winning any of these, but I did get some good fights here with here. Like, so here's this one here. This is a win. Like, I ran this line. My Heidi's a bit weak. This is definitely big theme. We've said we're still working on Heidi. Getting Heidi strong will definitely help us here. Because of the extra magic attack. Heidi's ability to scale quite well. We can go look at him in a second, but it's a Ishmael line. This has Judge, which is not a hero you see too often. It's kind of a weird line. Like, there's some heroes that aren't that common. There's no healer in here either, so they're pretty much relying on, like, Julius for healing. Yep, and then, Amira just killed Judge, got enough energy to do her ult again. Sebastian's down. Yeah, between Amira and Heidi, you got pretty good damage. Sometimes Amira can't damage Ishmael, though, because of his phantom ability. Okay, then Julius is gone. Ishmael's taking some pure damage. See that blind thing? His crits are gonna miss, so he's not gonna do too much damage. Heidi buffs dodge as well. That's the other thing. Heidi's a dodge buffer, which also helps versus Ishmael. Boom. Got him. Right, so that was... Heidi does most damage. Amira does some. Sebastian did not do much damage there. Like, he's not here for damage, he's here for support. But, he can sometimes get a hit in. Krista, though, tanking like a champ here. Like I said, she is such a good tank versus, Ishmael. Like I said, so that's what that fight ends up looking like. Heidi does a lot of damage. There's another fight. This is also an Ishmael team. I came up short here, and I did make a mistake, but part of this, though, is my Heidi's not strong enough. And it's possible might have been better to use Albus here. Though, said, Kane gets to ult more. Albus, like said, does more damage with the pure damage, so it's kind of tricky, but I do make it a mistake, and I'll point it out when I make it. Boom, there you go. Nebula and Sebastian just died there. Amira's gonna start another ult right now. Like I said, we're using Morgan instead of Sebastian this time because they have Rufus here. And here's one of the mistakes I made is I put Celeste back in the light right there, and I probably should have left her in dark mode just to kind of try to keep that cursed flame up. I kind of do not have it because it's like, well, maybe we need to top off Krista because Ishmael can kill your team really quick if you aren't careful, and I get a bit panicked here. But I really should have probably just been more aggressive at keeping her dark in cursed flame mode. Try to get that. Right, here we are. It's like there's not a lot of reason to switch her to light mode here. So Krista was almost full health, but we did it anyway. Yeah, this is actually my first time trying this line in these guild wars. This war was the first time I actually tried the Critter Masher in actual war. It's been more of academic. Like I've done like testing and stuff. I knew this line was good. First time actually using my own heroes. Like my Heidi, bit lagging behind though. Definitely needs a bit more work to max out his damage. But it's like we put her in light again. Like there's no reason to. Like we really needed to keep her in dark here. Like I said, so that's right there. A critical mistake. Probably cost me the fight. Certainly didn't help my fight. Like because if we needed to keep that cursed flame down. Should be waiting until she gets full energy so we can just do double full cycle. But it's like, it just, yeah, that extra. She probably wouldn't be hitting Ishmael too much, but it just, he would have probably had a couple more Cursed Flames on there. Slowed down some of his healing, but we're going to time out here. So we're finally playing right. Finally. It's kind of like too late now. And then it's like the end of the fight. We're going to try to get desperate here. We said for Heidi's last ult. Try to get a bit more damage, but it's too late. But, it's, if the point is this line works really well, and that was a good proof of concept. Heidi, obviously the weakest hero on that line, not red 2 yet, has a lot of progress to make. Like if we go to Heidi, see, what's his stats? So we've 133k power without pets, which is quite a bit lower than a lot of heroes. Fully maxed Aurora has 174, so definitely a bit of room to grow here. Don't have his health skin. See, we said we're still working on his red +1 and red +2. Like this is gonna give him some magic attack. This will have some magic attack on it. But his skills, they scale pretty well. It's 55% on his ultimate. This one has a 60%. This one has a 70%. So these abilities all scale pretty well. He has pretty good scaling with his abilities. So just getting all that extra magic attack from these extra items would definitely help quite a bit. Not just armor, but magic attack would be there. A lot of magic attack there, so some dodge. So there's a lot of magic attack to gain on, like I said, on Heidi still. And then, of course, Ascension. We're rank 4. Like, we are rank 4. Like, so we're doing good, but, like, we don't have any more, like, well, I guess we have some higher ones now. I guess we can actually do some more on him. Because we ran out of mid-tier blue crystals, though, so we had to stop for a bit. But now we got enough. We can just kind of try to get him a bit higher. Oh, we have to enchant that one. There we go. We can get him rank 5. There we go. Okay, now we're out. But, yeah, now so that just added like another 6k, 7k to him, so, boom. Magic attack went up a bit. Yeah, so a bit more damage up here now. But yeah, now trying to max out Heidi, though, is kind of my current goal. Like, that will help there. But this line's really good versus Ishmael. It's also good versus some, like, lines like this. This is like a Kira line. You can totally use that line against this. There's probably better things. I'd probably just use Aurora versus Kira, but you can totally use the Critter Masher line versus this as well. Because the same principle is going to apply. Like, Amira's going to shut down the critters. Let's see. Amira, Sebastian, Heidi. Alright, see. Alright, just something like that. Like I said. Right, see the thing goes up. Like I said, Jet's buffing them all with crits, so Kira's going to be missing all of her crits. So this ends up working really well. Like I said, Amira works really well against lines like this, but this same Critter Masher line does pretty effective here. And because Kira loves to just cause your whole team to dodge, really gives Heidi a lot of opportunities just to spam his ults. Just like that. But, this line works really well versus Kira as well. So, it's just a good line. Like I said, just good for Ishmael, good for, like I said, like any of those, like, really boosted, like, critical hit teams. So I call it the Critter Masher, because it's really good versus critters. But yeah, now if you want to see my, video I did about Ishmael, though, I did a full video where I talked about countering Ishmael. That line was, like, one of the centerpieces, and I went through a bunch of different, like, Ishmael lines. You can find that video below. Thanks for watching.